These are the most unhinged ancient theories that people actually believed. And I'm not just talking about, don't cut your nails at night or a ghost will bite you. These are literally the dumbest things people actually believe to be true. And the worst part? Some of this stuff actually caught on. Number 1. Depression? Just too much sad juice. Ever feel under the weather? Got the big sad? Feeling like life's a glitchy Sims game and your Sim won't get out of bed? Well, good news, because ancient Greece had a solution. And no, it's not therapy. Why pay for someone to listen when you can just poop the sadness out? Yep, back then, depression was blamed on an overflow of something called black bile. According to Hippocrates, the original WebMD guy, your entire body was ruled by 4 magical juices. Got anxiety? Too much yellow bile. Got a cold? Too much phlegm. Crying because your firstborn just lost all 4 limbs to leprosy? Nah bro, it's the juices. Naturally, they believed that the remedy for depression was getting the sad juice out. The doctors would purge your system. Bleeding, vomiting, sweating, pooping. Basically, every hole in your body became a valid exit. The idea was that once all that excess black bile was gone, you'd magically feel better. Except, you didn't. You were just weak, pale, covered in leech hickeys, and running to the bathroom every 3 minutes, like your soul was escaping through your colon. Which it kinda was. Now that I say it out loud, their methods did technically work. You can't feel sad if you're 6 feet under. Bless you. Thanks. Anyway, do you also say bless you when someone sneezes? If yes, congrats. You're a decent human being. And if you don't, just know that I've now been spiritually hijacked by Baphomet because you couldn't spare 2 words. Hope you feel good about yourself, you lazy, inconsiderate piece of... See, way back in the day, people didn't think sneezing was your body glitching over a dust particle. Nope, it was your last line of defense against Satan's Airbnb. Especially in ancient Greece and Rome, sneezes were considered a full-blown exorcism. Which is a fun theory until you're the only guy who sneezes 12 times in a row and everyone starts eyeing you like you've got Beelzebub on speed dial. This theory really blew up during the bubonic plague when one sneeze meant, yep, you're next. So saying bless you wasn't polite, it was a panic spell. A verbal crucifix meant to block the demon from doing a U-turn and crawling back into your nose. Of course, today we know sneezing is just your brain freaking out over dust, dander, or whatever perfume your Aunt Karen wears. But every time someone mutters, bless you, just remember, that's not kindness. That's muscle memory from an era where one sneeze meant your lungs, soul, and dignity were all leaving the chat. Anyway, number 3, using animal dung as medicine. Okay, this one's just diabolical. And the worst part? Almost every ancient culture believed in it for thousands of years, in one form or another. Imagine going to the doctor with a migraine and coming home with a steaming bag of hope. That's how medicine worked in the good old let's just press random buttons days of healthcare. And this wasn't some fringe snake oil treatment your aunt swears by because it worked for her chakras. No, this was mainstream. Ancient Egyptian doctors literally wrote out which animal's dung to rub on which body part. Got an infected wound? Smear it with crocodile crap. Running a fever? Try pig poop. Or, if you're feeling fancy, goose droppings marinated in honey. Even the Romans were in on the action. Pliny the Elder, a respected Roman commander / medical menace, suggested sheep dung for nosebleeds and dog poop for ulcers, so next time your dog does its business, maybe don't toss it. Just rub a little under your lip and wait for the healing to begin. Now, the craziest part is, these treatments actually worked like 15% of the time, but of course not because of some magical medicinal properties of animal feces, but the bacteria in poo helped kickstart the immune system or create just enough inflammation to fight off infection. But most of the time, you'd end up rubbing wild animal diarrhea into an open wound and dying of sepsis. Say, murdering someone in the Middle Ages must have been a piece of cake. Just convince your op that you're a doctor and shove cat piss down their esophagus. And hey, if you made it this far without throwing your phone across the room or gagging into a bucket, you might actually be into this kind of weird historical nonsense. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because trust me, it only gets worse from here. Here's number 4. Where did bees come from? Do you like the taste of thick, gooey syrup that oozes from an insect's throat? Congrats, you're a honey fan. That stuff you drizzle on pancakes? That's bee vomit. Warm, golden, slightly floral, barf. But have you ever wondered where bees come from? Well, if you asked an ancient Roman, they'd tell you, dead oxen. No, seriously, this was an actual theory, bugonia, which sounds less like an absurd ancient theory and more like something you'd shred over your mom's spaghetti. Here's the process. Step 1. Pick a healthy young bull. Step 2. Bludgeon it to death. Step 3. Seal the carcass in a wooden shed. Step 4. Wait a few days. Bees will crawl out of its eye sockets. This wasn't just a crackpot theory either, it was mainstream science. Virgil, yes, that Virgil, wrote about it in his Georgics like it was a Martha Stewart guide to homegrown honey production. He even added poetic flair to the steps, which is what you do when you're wrong but want to sound confident. The logic was, bees are useful, cows are big, so if you stuff one inside a barn long enough, it'll turn into a buzzing piñata full of liquid gold. In reality, you're watching flies, specifically hoverflies. They look kind of like bees if you squint hard enough and have a head injury. What actually happened was that the ox started decomposing, as corpses tend to do, and flies laid eggs in the wounds. Maggots hatched, transformed into adult flies, and flew out through the eye sockets like it was a biblical plague in reverse. But because people in the ancient world didn't believe in microscopes or waiting 5 extra minutes to observe anything properly, they saw bees and called it a win. Boom! Science! Even Aristotle, who was otherwise a smart guy, believed in spontaneous generation. To him, life just kinda happened when the vibes were right. Rats came from garbage, eels from mud, and bees, well, clearly they were bovine spirits reborn as bugs with a strong work ethic. Now as the music plays and the credits scroll, let's all take a moment to really appreciate how far medical science has come. Let's be thankful that we have Tylenol and ibuprofen instead of poop everywhere, all the time. And flies, for honey. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.